Good evening, everybody.
Good evening. This is a meeting of the Township Committee, April 18, 2022. The notice requirements provided for in the Open Public Meetings Act have been satisfied. Notice that this meeting was properly given by transmission to the Asbury Park Press, the Independent, and the Tubular Times, and by posting at the Middletown Township Municipal Building and filing with the Township Clerk on January 7, 2022. Committeeman Clark.
Here.
Committeewoman Kratz. Here. Committeeman Sedambrino. Deputy Mayor Haiba.
Here.
Mayor Perry.
Here.
Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
At this time, I'd like to ask for a moment of silence to honor the troops serving worldwide, defending our constitutions, freedoms, and way of life. Thank you. Our first item on tonight's agenda, we have a presentation recognizing April as National Donate Life Month in the Township of Middletown. At this time, I'd like to invite Vice Chair of New Jersey Sharing Network Foundation Board, Jane Bukowitz, and Nancy Buttle, and Middletown resident and organ transplant recipient Ron Walsh to join Mayor Perry at the front of the group.
Okay.
Good evening, everybody. Today is a really special occasion, and oftentimes I talk for too long and I tell the whole story and I don't allow other people. But this is such an important story to be told, and that is the fact that April is Donate Life Month. And you know, the one big thing that everybody can do, the easiest thing that everybody can do, and you know, I know not everybody has it, but actually I just had to re-up my own driver's license. And previously on there, it did not have the little organ donor sticker at the bottom, a little heart that they put at the bottom. But April is Donate Life Month, and it is so important, obviously, with the list that we see of organs that are needed. The list all across our country of those looking for help, those looking for support. And I'm very honored to declare April as Donate Life Month. And we have a group up here of unbelievable individuals that have been on both sides of that, that have experienced the pain of losing a loved one, of being able to provide help, and then someone fortunate enough to receive that support. So I don't know who wants to go first. Okay, all right, you're lined up perfectly. I love it. So before I read this proclamation, if you wouldn't mind, just explaining, because obviously this is being broadcast to all Middletown, and people are able to come and watch it later. So it's important that we know and tell that story.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for having us all here today. As the mayor explained, we do represent 3 different facets of organ donation. And I'm sure it's not something that most of us wake up in the morning thinking about, but it really does impact everyone. And it could potentially impact any of you. So today I'm here not only to thank you for this honor and the proclamation that the township is about to bestow on us, but I'm mainly here as a donor mom. So I'm going to tell you the story that brought our family into the world of organ donation. It goes back to 2009 when my son Dan, who at the time was 21 years old and a senior at Ramapo College, he was all set to graduate on Friday, me by coming into our kitchen. I lived in Howell, and I was there with my family, and he came in with 2 sets of ShopRite flowers. Happy Mother's Day, Mom. We thought he was going to be studying for his finals, but he just took the ride home just for a few hours. And a strange thing happened. We were sitting around the breakfast table, and he stood up and he pulled his driver's license out of his pocket. And he said, "You're not going to believe this, but I went to the DMV this week. I got my updated license because he had turned 21. And he said, "Mom, someday somebody's going to get these green eyes." So I scolded him for talking about such a morbid thing, but then we moved on with our day and eventually on with our week. Well, as the week unfolded, what happens at Ramapo is they'll ask their students to pack up their apartments, their dorms, bring everything home, but then come back for the balance of the week for senior celebration. He was doing that. He was in the process of bringing all his things home when we don't quite know what happened, but he was involved in a serious single-car accident where his car hit a tree. So I was away on a business trip. The rest of my family was at our home in Howell. We all raced to the hospital, but we were told with no uncertain terms that Danny had suffered a very traumatic brain injury, and he was not going to survive without life support. Now, I don't know if you were like I was back then. I thought that to become an organ donor was pretty happenstance in most hospitals every day. Well, it isn't. An organ donor usually happens maybe 24 times a year in a trauma center like Jersey Shore. So when it happens, the hospital community itself is very moved by it. So that's what happened in that particular moment was a doctor in the hospital, a doctor named Patrick Buttle. He came to console our family and to just tell us that our son's cavalier decision to be an organ donor was going to be something that would help our family heal over the years to come. So what happened was my son went on to save 3 lives. We were very proud of that fact. And now I had the business of worrying about his sister, his only sister, who was only 17 at the time and essentially had lost the favorite person in her life. And she went on, thanks to this organization, the New Jersey Sharing Network, which supports donor families like myself. We got very involved, and she started going out on speaking engagements with Dr. Patrick Buttle. So I want to now introduce you to my friend Nancy Buttle. The name, you'll catch it, and she's gonna. We don't want to end this on a sad note. So you're going to hear about how our family's lives have become commingled, and it really has a happy end. Nancy.
Thank you again for having us. Well, as Jane said, we're very involved in the Sharing Network, and I thank you for having us. But our story goes back even before that night that Danny Buckwitz became a hero. It was back in 2002. My husband just happened to come home from the hospital one day and say to me, "Hey, Nance," a friend of his named Andy. Andy has kidney disease, and unless he gets a transplant, he's going to have to go on dialysis. I said, "Oh, that's terrible. I'm a nurse, okay? I know what life's like on dialysis." He said, and this man, Andy, was a practicing orthopedic surgeon. It would end his career if he had to go on dialysis, and he had helped thousands of people in his life. He then says to me in a very calm voice, "I told him if I'm a match, I'll give him one of mine." I'm looking at him like, "Are you kidding me? We have 2 school-age children. You have a busy practice." He said, "Nance, it's the right thing to do." Need I tell you, 6 weeks later, we were in St. Barnabas Hospital, and he was giving his left kidney to his friend and colleague. The man went on to live another 11 years, went back to practice, and changed the entire quality of his life. But not only changed the quality of his life, changed the quality of my family's lives. 2002. Fast forward to 2009, where my husband, not in the capacity of a physician, is at Jersey Shore when they call him and say, "We have a young man here named Dan Buckwitz, can you come?" And he went there as used to go as a support person, to support the family during that decision of donation. And he met Jane, he met Dan's father, and he met Amy, Dan's sister. And he and Amy became fast friends. And they would go oftentimes, Jane's daughter and my husband, to talk to groups like you, to schools and stuff about the importance of organ donation. Again, fast forward to 2013 now, and we have our annual 5K run. And Amy runs a team. You know, it's a fundraiser for the Sharing Network. It's a lot of fun. It's in Long Branch on May 15th. And she decides after the run, she and her girlfriends are going to go out and continue to celebrate Danny's life. And they decide to go to the Parker House in Seabury. You're all familiar with the Parker House, right? Many of you spent hours there? Okay. She walks in. Yeah. She walks into the Parker House. She sees this adorable bartender who just happens to be wearing a green bracelet like that. She goes, what's the chances of that? So she goes up to the bar and she says to him, excuse me, where'd you get that green bracelet? And of course she's adorable, so he owns it on her. He goes, oh, my father's involved in an organization called the New Jersey Sharing Network. Now, she had never met my son because he was away at college and medical school then. You know, all those years that my husband was doing things with Amy. And she says to him, who's your father? And he says, Dr. Butler. She goes, I know your father. I know him very well. Again, let's fast forward to 2019. Amy and Vincent, my son, get married. Okay? And then, in January of 2021, they have a baby girl named Eleanor. So, Jane and I share a grandchild, but out of tragedy and out of heartache, and that day that Danny became a hero, not only to the people who received his organs and his gifts, something very special happened. These two young people were brought together, and now we have this beautiful life called Eleanor. So Danny is shining down on us. So again, I thank you for your time, and my good friend Mr. Walsh is going to talk to you.
All right, well, I'm a liver recipient. Had a cadaver liver in August 24th of just last year, 2021. I should actually still be walking around according to the general public in aches and pains and all of that, but I have to admit my recovery has been nothing but stellar. I'm actually an exception to the normal, and I'm very grateful for that. So my journey started really about 25 years ago, believe it or not. I was in the Marine Corps at the time, and I was stationed in Camp Lejeune in the 70s. In the 70s, and it turns out that from 53 to 87, there was contaminated water at Camp Lejeune, and one of the many contaminants was something called vinyl chloride that has been proven by the United States government to cause cirrhosis and liver cancer. It's hepatic cellular carcinoma, to be specific. So I didn't know that then. I drank the water, I bathed in the water, I did everything I had to do. Had a son there. So anyway, fast forward, life went on. I got a job, I worked, I brought up a family, we did all that good stuff. And then about 10 years ago, my doctor had me do an MRI for a hernia or something like that. And he comes to me and he says, you have a fatty liver. And I was like, the heck is that? And he said, well, a lot of people in America have fatty livers. He says, it's something we got to watch, change your diet, reduce your salt, you'll be okay. Okay, so that went on for, I don't know, probably another 5 or 10 years. And my gastroenterologist, because he realized over time that my MRIs and whatever were getting a little worse and worse and worse. He does a biopsy on my liver and he said, you have cirrhosis. Well, that blew any chance of life insurance, by the way. I couldn't get any. So I said, okay, that's, what am I going to do? He said, well, stop drinking, do this, do that, do that. Okay. So we did all of those things. Unfortunately, in 2019, I was telling these fine ladies, I was coming home from a job that I had with the United States Census at the time. I get a phone call from my gastroenterologist here, and he says, do you have a minute to talk? So I pull into a rest area, we give him a phone, chat with him. And he says, I hate to tell you, you have a tumor in your lung. What the heck are you talking about? This was all original equipment, man. There was nothing wrong with me. And he said, no. He says, you have a tumor on your liver. Now, prior to this, they'd sent me to Philadelphia to meet up with a doctor who was the specialist and all of that. And according to my gastroenterologist here, it was to familiarize myself, become friendly with him so I would know who it was that I might need something. Turns out he was an excellent doctor, Dr. Heron down at the Township Hospital. And anyway, as time went by, my cirrhosis got worse. My symptoms started to become much worse. In 2019, I was already having what they call varices. It's basically varicose veins, but in your stomach. And they were popping and bleeding, and I was anemic, and I had low iron, and I had to get iron infusions, blood transfusions, and multiple times. Matter of fact, for a while there, with my hepatologist, I was getting iron and/or blood every 3 weeks. Every 3 weeks for months. And I would get tired and lethargic. I'd sleep all the time. I mean, I used to sleep till 10:30 in the morning, get up, and by noon I was already napping. I mean, it was terrible, terrible. Then as the disease continued, I got something called hepatic encephalopathy. That's where you're so confused that you take a round peg and a round hole and you can't put the two together. It just doesn't happen like this, and you can't walk straight. At one point, my wife, thank God, she was always there for me, had to take me to the emergency room. I couldn't walk down my stairs. I mean, literally, I could not walk. I had no strength, no mind, nothing. I had to sit on my butt and bounce down the stairs to get to the car. And spent 5 or 6 days in the hospital. After that, I got treated. They cleared it up. I was sent home. That happened at least 4, maybe 5 times. Different scenarios, but same thing happened. I couldn't drive anywhere. Couldn't go anywhere. I just couldn't do anything. Always sleeping. Always. I was at the doctor so much that they would just call me Ron. No longer was it Mr. Walsh or anything. Ron, it's your turn. Everything. Well, then I was listed finally. When they first told me I was going to get put on the transplant list, they said, "No way, I'm not doing that. That scared the hell out of me." I wouldn't do it. Even I know that it wasn't necessary. I wouldn't do it. And it took about 3 weeks. I had to visit my local doctors here, who I trusted implicitly, and they were all like, "You got to do it, or you're going to be done. And it's going to be over. You maybe have 18 months to do it." And it was in 2020. So maybe you might have 18 months. Well, I don't want 18 months. I want 35 more years. So anyway, I finally acquiesced. So back to the doctor and said, "Okay, let's get on the list." And getting on the list is not like, okay, you're on the list. You got to go through a series of testing. And so in my case, it was over a 2-day period in Philadelphia, and I had to see about a dozen different doctors and go through a dozen different kinds of tests. And the tests, in some cases, were simple. There was one test called the blood gas test. Something about blood gases or something. It was the most horrible test, because when you get blood, well, when you have this test, they go to not your artery, but your vein, and they take blood out. It is the most painful, in my opinion, the most painful, probably like a woman having a baby without any, drugs. It was the most horrible thing. And matter of fact, when the guy finished doing that, he said, "Oh, I'm going to run to the place and, get this out." So anyway, I go through all of that. I finally get a call. I am back up on the list. I was excited. It was awesome. And I got another one. I had 6 false alarms in total. The 7th time, it was 1 week after I had my 6th false alarm. 7th time was a charm. They went in, they took everything out. They take out your liver and your gallbladder, by the way. And in my case, when they took out the liver, the cancer that was in the liver was jettisoned with it. And so I was technically cured right away. I mean, not to say I wasn't, but there's always a chance it can come back. And I tell you, recovery is tough. And if you ever want to be called a superhero, donate. You can save 8 lives and improve 75 lives. So you can affect 83 people. It's possible. All because of you.
YouTube have is unbelievable. I mean, that is, and it's, that's one of a kind there. And for all three of you, I've sat up here for a lot of presentations, and I want to commend all of you. All of your stories touch on exactly why we're proclaiming April as Donate Life Month, because it is so unbelievable. 23 people is the potential for you to impact by having that simple registration or putting it on your driver's license. So with that being said, it's our honor that I, Mayor Tony Perry, and the Middletown Township Committee do hereby proclaim April 2022 as National Donate Life Month in the Township of Middletown, and urge all residents to join me in promoting organ and tissue donor education throughout the entirety of National Donate Life Month. Thank you for telling us your story. Thank you for telling Middletown your story, and thank you for all the advocacy that you do. It really means a lot, and we know, seeing the families that have been impacted here, what you two are doing and what you're demonstrating. It is truly wonderful. So I want to thank all of you very much. Very much appreciate it.
Thank you, Mayor.
Come on up. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Very nice.
Pleasure to meet you.
Pleasure to meet you. Pleasure to meet you. All the best. All the best. No.
I gotcha.
Full service. All right, we're good. What's that? Oh.
Our next proclamations, I'll read for the record the titles. We have a proclamation recognizing May 1st through May 7th, 2022 as Municipal Clerks Week in the Township of Middletown. We have a proclamation recognizing May 2022 as Mental Health Awareness Month in the Township of Middletown. We have a proclamation recognizing May 2022 as Older Americans Month in the Township of Middletown. And a proclamation recognizing May 2022 as Buddy Poppy Month in the Township of Middletown. And then finally, a proclamation recognizing May 1st through May 7th as National Small Business Week in the Township of Middletown. Our next item on tonight's agenda, we have approval of minutes, the regular meeting of March 21st, 2022, and workshop meeting of April 4th, 2022. Any motion?
Motion.
Committeeman Clark.
Yes.
Committeewoman Kratz.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Hybel.
Yes.
Mayor Perry.
Yes.
Motion carries to approve minutes. At this time, we have public hearing on proposed ordinances. 2022-3338, a bond ordinance providing an appropriation of $1,400,000 for construction of a skateboard park in Kunkel Park by and for the Township of Middletown in the County of Monmouth, New Jersey, and authorizing the issuance of $1,330,000 in bonds or notes of the township for financing part of the appropriation.
Any member of the public wishing to speak on public ordinance number 2022-3338? Okay, Don had his hand up first.
Flip it for the next one.
We're going to go, Don, and then get you start right here, and then Al. All right.
Good evening, my name is Don Watson, living at 1 Collinson Drive, over in New Monmouth. I was a bit surprised to see this ordinance about this skate park. I'm glad you guys are doing it. I was in favor of the last skate park that was over on Pulch. And I was just wondering, I got a few questions here. The incidences that happened at the Pulch Park, I'm wondering what's going to prevent them from happening new park at Kunkel?
Yeah, the first thing I would say about that is, obviously, the Kunkel Park is in a much better, more visible place.
More visible than Pulse?
Well, it's more visible in terms of it's already part of a big park, right? And it's utilizing a space that already had the surface that needs very little work. And in fact, some of the folks in the audience built a little course themselves, a little skate park themselves. But and then on top of that, obviously the camera system that'll be installed, the increased the better fencing, much better abilities for us to ensure that those incidents do not happen, and also the fact that there's no bikes. The BMX was a big problem at Pulch. That was a huge problem that we had at Pulch. And with not allowing the BMX biking and actually creating it where the facilities themselves don't really lend themselves to BMX biking, further prevents any incidents that we had witnessed prior from happening in this new skate park.
So you're using different equipment that doesn't cater to bicycles?
Correct. It's mostly targeted for skateboards and/or scooters.
Okay, rollerblades?
Rollerblades, yeah.
Good.
I'm a kid of the '90s. I always forget about the rollerblades.
We had four-wheel skates. Metal ones.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, the equipment that you had at Pulse Park, what happened to that equipment? You know, and I know it was all packed away or something.
did we sell that time? We still.
No, I think it was no good. Once you take it apart, it's really not usable again. This is all.
Hard to put back together.
Yeah.
Okay. And I guess the cameras are going to eliminate the need for a patrolman to be on duty there?
You won't need a patrolman on duty, but they'll all have access to the camera systems that we're working on installing in parks all across town.
Okay. And they're monitored here?
They're monitored at multiple locations,
Okay.
not just here at town hall.
Well, I'm glad you guys are finally doing something with park, the roller hockey rink.
Yeah, I mean, this roller rink, there was a lot of conversations about what we should do with it, right? It was being taken down, and the space was just sitting there. And prior to it being utilized for this exact purpose, albeit not the proper way, but it was being utilized. I think that this is the fact that it's on the Henry Hudson Trail, the fact that it's a part of Kunkel Park, the fact that we want to make the improvements that we do to Kunkel Park, I think is a critical component, and providing it that this will be a place for skateboarding and scooters and roller plates. These are all the things that we think it has an opportunity to succeed, and we have every intention for it succeeding.
And what's going to happen to the roller rink at McMahon Park?
Yeah.
For McMahon?
That's, that we just got a Monmouth County Open Space grant to put towards turning that into a pickleball complex.
Right.
On the whole roller rink?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, okay. I was just curious about that, because I know that a few people have been.
We have, and the other part of McMahon is, and Jen, is not here, is she? No.
People over there play pickleball?
Pickleball players will go over their pickleball courts.
Yeah.
So, but we're also beginning, as Mayor, I was going to mention, we're doing a playground over there. And
Have you seen the Field of Dreams playground down in Tom's River?
I've seen the movie.
Not that one. Kevin Costner's not coming out in this. No, there's a playground down in Tom's River, and it's called Field of Dreams. And the replacement for the McMahon playground kind of came out of two two things. There was a woman who on Facebook who lives near McMahon Park, was discussing the fact that her 100% disabled child really didn't have a place that he could go. So we brought the whole family into Town Hall, and we are working on constructing a playground where, we're really proud of the Croydon playground. I mean, that's really an unbelievable, it's where I take, Reagan and Grant. And this playground over at McMahon will make an entire, not just Middletown proud, not just the folks that live around McMahon, but I think an entire Bayshore proud, because it capitalizes on the fact that we're able to design a playground where my kids and everyone else's kids, regardless of their capabilities, are able to come together and not even realize that they're interacting with someone who is in a wheelchair, or interacting with someone who maybe have ADHD or whatever, special needs that makes their child just wanting to feel like they have a place that they can go, and that's what this playground is going to do. So it's completely wheelchair accessible. You'll be able to take wheelchairs up the ramps and everything. It's unbelievable. So McMahon's really going to have
You're gonna have swings too, right?
I'm going to have swings, and I'm going to allow Don Watson from 1 Collinson Drive to pick the tree so that there is enough shade over there to ensure that you're happy, Don.
You probably need more than one tree.
All right, well,
There's gonna be that
we'll
many
talk
people
about how
there.
many there can be. But
There's gonna be that many people there, you're gonna need more than one tree.
I hear you. I hear you.
Great, thank you very
All
much.
right, you got it, Don. Yes, sir. Just state your name and address for the record, sir.
Good evening, my name's Thomas Lauro, live on 19 Raritan, actually around the corner from Kunkel Park.
Yep.
And unbeknownst to me, I really didn't even know who Bill Kunkel was at the time.
Yeah.
I'm just curious, show of hands. Everybody
I do.
know Bill Kunkel?
I do.
Everybody know who Bill Kunkel was?
No? MLB umpire.
And Major League,
And player.
and his son was a player, and his wife was a biology teacher at Middletown North.
Right.
Is that right?
So my
The son is
understanding,
buried.
was the park was dedicated in his honor.
Hmm?
And to be perfectly honest with you, up until the time I tripped in the parking lot with my dog, because there was insufficient lighting, sent the letter to the Department of Recreation, and that caused them.
In the parking lot over by the skate rink or by the
No,
baseball field?
Council Park. It was completely, I think they had rehabbed the road, and then they had a lot of construction
Okay.
equipment, so it was all disheveled, potholes. I had tripped, sent the letter. I mean, I wasn't looking to, I got a little bruised, but I'm not looking to sue anybody, but it caused the township to fix the parking lot. Then they fixed the basketball rooms. So I've been trying to get the tennis courts and the basketball resurfaced
Hmm?
to deaf ears. So I was wondering if it was possible to amend the ordinance and solicit some funds to fix the tennis courts.
So normally we don't handle tennis courts like that. We try and, actually, it's oftentimes that we try and incorporate them into our roads program because you're utilizing the same materials.
Have you been to that park lately?
Actually, when there was a Leonardo group, it didn't, I'm not sure the neighborhood group lasted all that long, maybe 1 or 2 years. Vinny was there. But we took a whole, we walked the entire park. But yes, I've been to Kunkel Park multiple times.
Because I'm in fear if I'm gonna go play tennis, it's in such disrepair, I may trip again. So I don't want that to happen, but, it's just, it's in very,
I'm happy to
very bad disrepair. I wish someone from the township would come down and take a look at it.
I'm happy to come down, take a look. Ted and I were actually, from the last meeting, we were just at somebody else's house that had requested a meeting at their home. I'm happy to go out with Ted and Janet and take a look at it. Not a problem whatsoever.
I don't take
It's
too
been-
much, but I really appreciate that.
It's
You know,
not a
just-
worry at all.
I just figured it would enhance the park as well as, it's kind of like in combination with the skate park.
Yeah, Rick, who's 2 minutes away, myself, Ted, Janet, we'll all go out there, and Laura, who's my assistant, she's happy to get you her contact.
Would I be able to attend?
Absolutely, 100%, we'll coordinate it with you.
Should I give you my emails?
Laura's gonna take it.
Yeah, folks, good time.
Are you doing?
Yeah.
Thank you, sir. Thanks. Vin?
Just one thing technically on that. So we can't amend this ordinance to include that.
Right.
We'd have to do a separate ordinance for it.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Ready, we're entering on Brevent Leonardo, right across the street from Kunkel Park. I got a few questions. The gentleman in fact answered some of them. As far as the fence, is this thing going to be locked up after dark?
Yes.
It's going to be locked. Who is going to lock it?
Well, the goal for all of our parks in terms of what we're doing with our camera systems is, and similar to that of what we're doing in Ideal Beach, is we have an app that allows us to turn lights on, turn lights off, lock certain buildings that we need to lock, all via a cell phone.
Well, I know about the app because the light's been coming on and off. Because that's what I kind of figured. I've seen these lights, they've been off for 3-4 years.
It's amazing what these things can do.
Yeah, I know what they can do. That's why I carry that one. Flip. Anyway,
What is that? I'm kidding.
I gotta put a quarter in it to make it. Keeps me out of trouble. Anyway, basically you're gonna set this app up.
We already have it. We already
Okay,
utilize
It's
it.
already in the program, I understand that. That's why I kind of figured this thing was coming on and off all of a sudden. So, and then when we heard all of a sudden that the park was gonna be put in, and put 2 and 2 together with the lights.
Mhm.
Now, lights are gonna go out at what time? Say, right now in the summertime, you won't need them.
Right now in summertime, you won't.
Because
Daylight savings.
your daylight till
Daylight.
I know that.
8 o'clock, 8,
I-
9 o'clock, okay?
It's all has to do with the policy of what we decide for the park.
Okay. Fencing, how high?
Do you know what that chain link on the perimeter
It's-
is? Let me just clarify, it's iron fencing in the front. So basically, the new entrance would be the support beams for the old scoreboard. So now the entrance will not be all the way to the left of the
Okay.
of the park. It'll be more towards the center. So those 2 beams right there are gonna be encapsulated, right? And because the scoreboard is staying. So the fence will meet there, so it'll have a decorative fence in the front, and then it'll be chain link
Chain link
all around the perimeter.
Right. How high?
I believe it's a 6-foot fence, and we're required to fence it by our joint insurance fund that we belong to.
Okay, why can't you go 8 foot? I mean, like you said, the insurance, I understand where you're coming from, okay? But if you take the one at Atlantic Commons, okay, Atlantic Commons is totally different than anybody else.
Yeah.
Okay, Atlantic Commons,
They're not at grade though.
pardon?
They're not at grade in Atlantic Islands. Those are all elevated platforms.
Right, they're elevated platform, but that gate gets locked. It gets locked by security at the harbor, okay? Yes, the police do patrol it if security calls them there is a problem.
Mhm.
Security opens and closes it. But you take Bricktown and you take Long Branch, okay? Police department actually there. I actually seen the one in Bricktown where my son lives. We went over there and looked, and it was just getting dark. Patrol car pulled up, okay fellas, let's go, threw the lock on it.
We can absolutely talk to the chief
Yeah,
about
I
something
mean,
like that.
plus, I'm right there and I'm gonna hear it. There's gonna be a lot of loud music there. Eventually, it's gonna be loud music. All right? So, I mean, what do we do? Just call them, tell them, hey, there's loud music at the rink there?
Yeah, I mean, I can't, you know I can't talk
You
to
can't put out there
hypotheticals.
24/7, I understand that.
Yeah.
I understand that 110%. Yeah, we're gonna get loud music, we're gonna get this.
I understand what you're saying, man. I
Like
think,
you say, the cameras.
yes, sir.
But it would be nice it really would be nice,
Mhm.
maybe during, towards the evening hours,
Mhm.
okay? Say around after 5, at least 2 or 3 times, patrol car just drive through. Just drive through,
I
that's
don't,
it.
I don't ever I try not to comment on what the procedures or the defined routes of the police are going to be, for safety purposes. But I'm more than happy to pass along your comments and
You know,
feedback to the
I mean,
chief.
they don't have to stop, you know, just drive through, make themselves present, that's it, you know?
I hear you.
I mean, the kids that were in there before, when you were cleaning up after them, when you were chasing them out, just about 3-4 months ago, 5 months ago, I mean, they were a bunch of great kids, they were cleaning the place up. They were
Yeah.
quiet, they were great kids. I mean, like I said, I've got nothing against skateboarding. I've got nothing against skateboards. Okay, I got nothing against it. I just want to make sure that, you know, hey, like it said here, you made the ordinance for the older people, you know, and I want to get my peace and quiet.
I got you.
That's it. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ben. Any other member of the public wishing to make a public comment on public ordinance number 2022-3338? Okay, seeing no member of the public stepping forward, move to close the public portion and approve.
Committeeman Clark. Committeewoman Kratz. Yes. Committeeman Sedambrino. Oh, sorry. Deputy Mayor Hybel.
Yes.
Mayor Perry.
Yes.
Motion carries to pass this ordinance on second and final reading.
I gotta have to listen to him.
Squeaky wheel.
Yeah, you go, there you go.
No. Okay.
Our next ordinance for tonight's agenda, we have 2022-3339, an ordinance providing funding for various capital purposes for the Township of Middletown, appropriating $1,400,000 for such purpose.
Any member of the public wishing to speak on public ordinance number 2022-3339? Sure, Don.
Good evening, my name is Don Watson, living at 1 Collinson Drive. When this was introduced last meeting, I thought it was almost like a duplicate ordinance, because they were both the same dollar figures.
Yeah.
Yeah, and nothing's a coincidence around here. So I looked a little further and actually read them. Couple questions. And number 2, what is a showmobile? Is that like a camper that you
We currently have 2. You've probably seen them at Middletown Day, or at the MAC. It's the big box truck basically that has the front that comes down so that you can utilize it as a stage when you don't have staging.
Oh, like it's parades and stuff.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. So we have 2 of them, one's from, I don't know, the 70s, which is basically,
One is completely out of commission now.
yeah,
the other one is-
and the other one's being repaired from
Hey, I'm
being.
from the 70s.
Oh, sorry.
I came here for the senior proclamation.
Yeah. But it's due time to replace that one.
Okay. And this canopy structure at the art center, is that like an awning?
Yeah, so,
Is it kind of like
a
a track?
it's a good question. I have the same idea. Deputy Mayor Heibel and I met with the Arts Council, and they've been expanding their programs, and part of that was that they have been renting a tent outside, so back in between the building and the pond. And we have been discussing with them how we can further expand the arts and expand their access. And one of them was if they could utilize that money better if we just built them an awning, and now that they would have that all the time, so they could have that access to painting programs and vendor shows that they have. So it would just go on the back side.
Okay. gotta take now. Yeah.
They're renting it on a yearly basis at this point.
So it's gonna be like a,
Permanent structure.
canvas material? No, it's gonna be like,
Private metal.
Yeah.
Private metal.
okay.
Canvas structures you're supposed to take down by a certain date set by the state for,
You take it down and put up the material.
No, it's required for snow loads during the season.
wind, things like that, yeah.
Okay. Very good. Street sweeper. Is this in addition? How many street sweepers do we have right now?
We have one. Okay, correct?
Well, we have two actually, one is not really.
We have one that works.
One that works,
Do you have
right?
any spare parts? Okay, does this mean I'm gonna get a street sweeper down my street someday?
It's gonna be going down your street first.
Alphabetical order? I'm in Collins. You gotta get down Wilson to get to Collins. And Tyndall. I was just wondering about that. It takes like 5 years to get a street sweeper in my neighborhood.
Well, one thing that Ed and I have been discussing along with Tony and Rick is the absolute need for us not to just have one street sweeper, but to have two, and to get them on the road and out there. Because not only is it obviously something that benefits the residents, especially in their driveway aprons and things like that, but also getting those leaves out and preventing them from going into the storm drains. You know, that is a critical component to stormwater management and ensuring that our infrastructure remains solid.
I used to raise that issue here over the years, and I was told that that doesn't really matter. But I'm glad you're coming around. Road paving equipment.
Yes.
Can you detail that a little bit better?
So what we have come up with what we feel is a very solid program to ensure that we're going to be able to provide our roads department with the hot boxes, bobcats with the milling attachments. We have a milling attachment now, but if we're able to do milling on one side of the town and then the next day, 2 days later, the next week, do it on the other side of the town, we can send out the one crew who's going to do the paving on that opposite side. So we're able to fill those potholes. And in our opinion, we're going to be able to fill them better because instead of filling a 3x3 hole, we're going to be doing bigger sections.
Making a bigger hole.
You're not making a bigger hole, you're making a better patch than you would if you just filled in the hole itself. When you fill in the hole, water is still going to find a way to seep in. Mm-hmm. When you do it and you take, instead of a 3x3 patch, you make it a 7x7 or a 10x10, you're ensuring that patch you're not coming back to later. And that's what we're trying to do. We're working towards ensuring that the paving and the patching that we're doing on our roads is going to have a true impact on making our roads last longer.
So does that mean we're going to buy one of those metal plates to seal the hot patch that we're putting down?
No. Part of this purchase would be bringing in a roller that we would be able to do the project from start to finish.
Okay, because I see the buckets of hot tar.
Yeah, they've been going around. I was with them out on. They were on.
Well, we never had the sealer, the metal plate to actually seal
Yeah.
the patches.
Yeah.
We're still using the old tire thing.
So it's a big undertaking, obviously.
Indeed. And last point I wanted to ask about was the gym equipment for the administrator. Are you setting up a gym here?
So we in the old town hall, in the old building. No. In the where the police evidence, the building that was on the highway. There was gym equipment in there. This building does have a gym. We are required to provide our police officers with access to gym equipment. Fortunately, due to the size of this building and our ability to now have almost 95% of our employees in this building, we'll be able to provide not just our police, but our employees with access to a gym. And that just benefits all of us, obviously, it benefits the employees, but it also benefits the fact that we'll have work towards a healthier staff.
So everybody in this building is considered administration?
All employees would have access to that gym.
Administration?
For access to the gym.
Okay, because it says that the gym equipment is for the administration department.
Yeah,
No.
it's kind of oddly worded, but it's for the whole.
Yeah, who wrote this?
The bond council.
Yeah.
Just so you're aware, too, the gym requirement is a part of the police contract. So they're contractually obligated to provide them with a
Right, I
gym.
thought in the original police department, there was a gym like
In the police garage building.
Yeah, in the
there was a
garage.
gym. Yeah.
Next to where the state police, where the state police used to be, where they used to be stationed, there was a gym right next to it.
So as a taxpayer, does that mean I have gym membership to this thing?
No.
No?
No,
I just pay for it, and you guys can use it?
And it can't be used
What's up with
by,
that?
it can't be used by anyone on
That's
their
not
work,
insured.
on their work schedule. It has to be done outside work hours.
Has to be an employee of the town.
Okay. Just curious. Thank you very much.
No problem, Don. You and Tony can, head over to workout, Jersey Strong, or whatever it's being called.
Jersey Strong ain't there now.
I know, that's going to.
That's where I used to go. That's why I was wondering, since I'm paying taxes, I got a gym membership here.
Yeah.
Yeah, no.
Unfortunately, I don't think the insurance fund is not going to let us do that.
All right, thank you.
Thanks, Don. Any other member of the public wishing to speak on public ordinance number 3339? Seeing no other member of the public stepping forward, move to close the public portion and approve.
Committeeman Clark.
Yes.
Committeewoman Kratz.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Hybel.
Yes.
Mayor Perry.
Yes.
Motion carries to pass this ordinance on second and final reading. Our next item on tonight's agenda, we have introduction of ordinance 2022-3340, an ordinance amending chapter 130-15 of the Code of the Township of Middletown governing hours of sale for alcoholic beverages.
Motion to introduce.
Second.
Committeeman Clark.
Yes.
Committeewoman Kratz.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Hybel.
Yes.
Mayor Perry.
Yes.
Motion carries to pass this ordinance on first reading with a public hearing to be held May 2nd, 2022. Our next item on tonight's agenda, we have budget action items. Our first item is Resolution 22-124, a resolution authorizing the 2022 budget amendment. At this time, I have to read the resolution into the record. The Township of Middletown, Monmouth County, New Jersey, resolution to amend the budget. Whereas the local municipal budget for the calendar year 2022 was introduced on 21st day of March 2022, and whereas the public hearing on said budget has been held as advertised. Whereas it is desired to amend said introduced budget. Now therefore be it resolved by the Township Committee of the Township of Middletown, County of Monmouth, that the following amendments to the introduced budget of calendar year 2022 to be made. We have the current fund, anticipated revenues, general revenues. First item, surplus anticipated from $10,700,000 to $10,700,000. The miscellaneous revenue, section F, special items of general revenue anticipated with prior written consent of Director of the Local Government Services, Public and Private Revenue offset with appropriations. American Rescue Plan Act, ARPA, from $225,000 to $245,000. The total miscellaneous revenue, $15,870,236.72 to $15,890,236.72. Item number 4, receipts from delinquent taxes, from $15,000 to $15,000. Number 5, subtotal general revenues, $26,585,236.72 to $26,605,236.72. The amount, number 6, amount to be raised by taxes. A, local tax for municipal purpose, including reserve for uncollected taxes, $57,975,374.29. To $57,975,374.29.
You done?
No.
Okay.
C, minimum library taxes, $4,149,043 to $4,149,043. Total amount to be raised by taxes for support Middletown, support of the municipal budget, $62,124,417.29 to $62,124,417.29. Total general revenues, $88,709,654.01 to $88,729,654.01. The current fund appropriations, number 8, general appropriations. A, operations within caps. Police, salary and wages, $13,881,356 to $13,781,356. Police, salary and wages with ARPA funds, $1,835,000 to $1,935,000. Utilities and bulk purchases, street lighting, $700,000 to $690,000. Unclassified sick time buyback, $225,000 to $205,000. Accumulated leave compensation, $100,000 to $90,000. Total appropriations, item 8A, within caps, $61,446,830 to $61,406,830. Total operations, including contingent within caps, $61,466,830 to $61,426,830. The detail, salaries and wages, $29,765,931 to $29,735,931. Other expenses, $31,700,899 to $31,690,899. E, deferred charges and statutory expenditures within caps. Number 1, deferred charges within caps prior year bill telesystems, $240,000. Total deferred charges and statutory expenditures within caps, $7,497,193 to $7,537,193. H-1, total general appropriations within caps, $68,964,023 to $68,964,023. Almost done. Number 8, general appropriations. A, operations excluded from caps. Public and private programs offset by revenues. American Rescue Plan Act, ARPA, $225,000 to $245,000. Number 8, general appropriations, operations excluded from caps, $6,249,631.01 to $6,269,631.01. Details, salary and wages, $508,843 to $4,508,843. Other expenses, $1,740,788.01 to $1,760,788.01. H-2, total general appropriations excluded from caps, $18,170,631.01 to $18,190,631.01. L, subtotal general appropriations item H-1 and O, $87,134,654.01 to $87,154,654.01. Reserve for uncollected taxes, $1,575,000 to $1,575,000. Total general appropriations, $88,709,654.01 to $88,729,654.01. Be it further resolved that 2 certified copies of this resolution be filed of the Office of the Director of Division of Local Government Services for certification to calendar year 2022 local municipal budget so amended. Mayor?
Way to go, Heidi.
Oh, thank you.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Committeeman Clark.
Yes.
Committeewoman Kratz.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Hybel.
Yes.
Mayor Perry.
Yes.
Motion carries to adopt resolution 22-124. At this time, we have resolution 125, resolution adopting the 2022 municipal operating budget, which requires public hearing.
Any member of the public wishing to speak on the 2022 municipal operating budget, which is resolution 22-125? Don? No?
I'll pass on this one.
Okay. Seeing no member of the public stepping forward, move to close the public portion and approve.
Second.
Committeeman Clark.
Yes.
Committeewoman Kratz.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Hybel.
Yes.
Mayor Perry.
Yes.
Motion carries to adopt resolution 22-125. At this time, I'd like to ask the Township Committee to adopt a consent agenda, which would include resolutions 22-126 through 22-133, removing 22-134, and including 22-135 and bingo and raffle applications.
Motion to approve consent agenda.
Second.
Committeeman Clark.
Yes.
Committeewoman Kratz.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Hybel.
Yes.
Mayor Perry.
Yes.
Motion carries to adopt consent agenda. At this time, we have Township Committee comments.
All right, Committeewoman Kratz.
I just wanted to say thank you so much for coming this evening for your presentation, and I wish you continued good health. I'm a proud organ donor for many, many years, and I know how important that is, so thank you very much. Also wanted to extend a big congratulations to our 5th grade students from Ocean and Harmony and New Monmouth. This week we had 65 students graduate from our Project Plus program, which is a peer leadership program and a drug and alcohol prevention program. So we're really quite proud of them. They attended for 7 solid weeks, and they were excited. We always end with a pizza party and certificates, and their principals come, and it's really a great evening. So we've moved on to our students who are attending Thompson in the fall. So good stuff. We have 110 students in this session. So we're looking forward to graduating for them too. So that's all I have.
Thank you. Committeewoman Kratz. Committeeman Clark.
I'd like to echo Committeewoman Kratz's comments about being a donor. I am myself, since I turned old enough to make that decision. Congratulations, and wish you the best. I had the opportunity to be part of the Lake Little League parade last weekend, or 2 weekends ago. It was having played in that league as a child and coming out
All right, any member of the public, with that being said, any member of the public wishing to make a public comment, ask that you come up to the mic, state your name and address for the record. We ask that you keep your comments to 5 minutes. At 4 minutes, I'll let you know that you have 1 minute remaining. And with that being said, any member of the public wishing to make a public comment? Yes, ma'am, come on down.
We have a group, should we come up and?
It's just
us here.
Yeah, just right.
I got it.
Okay. I was hoping.
I'll identify everybody. Are we identifying your comments with everybody that's back there?
Correct.
Okay, so is everybody okay with her speaking on your behalf? All right.
Sure.
There are a few of us once.
And we also have a victim here too.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Okay. It gets better.
Good evening. How are you?
I'm good.
Just state your name and address for the record.
Anne Marie Portillo, 21 Pearl Street.
Okay.
We have an ongoing situation in the neighborhood with, we've had several dog attacks, and collectively we have made numerous phone calls to the administrative offices, to the animal control, and this situation is still not been resolved. 2 of the injured parties, one of which is here, resulted in hospitalizations, and we just don't know at this point who to express our concerns to.
Okay. Before we go any further, I just want to, is it okay to discuss this in open? What's your address again? ma'am?
It's 21 Pearl, right behind me.
Okay. And is there any pending litigation or anything like that? Okay. No? Okay. All right. Are you ready?
Not yet.
We have someone here that wasn't.
Oh, okay. Folks, Tony, do you want to just elaborate?
So we've had a lot of discussions about this. The issue is,
Well, hang on, folks.
the issue is an aggressive dog in the neighborhood that was recently taken away for a while, but recently they returned.
Correct. 10 days later.
Folks, just for the purposes of documentation as to who's speaking, I'm just going to ask that we just speak one at a time, and then Tony.
And what I'm going to suggest is that we schedule a day for your group to come in so we can meet with the police department and we can explain to you. There's a lot of complexity to the rules about how you can enforce rules against dangerous dogs. This dog, even though I know it's injured a couple of people, I know one person in particular, right now the police don't feel it meets the threshold where it can be taken away from the owner.
Who sets those thresholds?
Well, the law, there's.
But is it state law?
State law,
Okay.
State law, there's very specific criteria
So-
that you have to achieve. And
So can I make a suggestion really quick, and all of you can feel free to come up and say whatever, and obviously as well, but we're going to get whoever wants to take the lead in helping schedule this. We're going to get Laura. Laura's going to get all of your contact information, and we'll pass around a piece of paper. You can give us your email addresses and your names and your phone numbers. That way, per Tony's recommendation, we'll have a meeting with our police chief, whoever is dealing with this case specifically right now, yourselves and Tony, and Rich Benedetto on our animal control. So Laura will pass it around, but if there's any comments that you want to make aside from that, you're more than welcome to.
I'm going to allow somebody else to speak.
Okay,
I
all right.
just wanted to let you know about.
I appreciate it. Thank you very much. Thank you. Yes, ma'am. What's your name and address?
Sandra Murphy, 31 Pearl Street. My mother was the one that was attacked on April of 2019. All right, 15 stitches over her eye, broken elbow, scratched on the back, scratched on the chin, 2 bites on the arm, surgery on the elbow to repair it, 14 days in the hospital, cracked sternum, cracked ribs. That doesn't warrant anything. She can't sue, she can't do anything because the person has no insurance. So it's not like she's getting anything from it. Nothing can happen for it. But after that, and the guy at Animal Control knows, we call. We call the police. We call. They're there all the time. They know Jennifer Moore. Something has to be done with the dog. The dog is loose all the time. The dog is just loose and just attacked somebody else. So we're begging something to be done. And I know, yes, we can all get together, but that to have happened to my mother of a dog running out of her house across the street and going and attacking her? Come on. Nothing can be done. That's what she was told. The judge said, well, she's an older lady, she fell. Because we were asked to come
I'm
to
sorry,
court.
say that again?
The judge said, well, she's an older lady and she fell. That's why she got hurt so bad.
What judge was that?
Whoever animal control brought from 2009, we were there 4 times, we were asked to come. We were never asked to go up and talk to anybody. Middletown judge.
Okay.
We were never asked to go up and speak. We show up, she shows up as high as a kite. And comes in.
What year did this occur?
This was 2019,
Okay.
April 19th of 2019. We've been ongoing with everybody. Everybody knows us, we call, they come, which is great. The dog ends up running back up into the house after it's been loose for 45 minutes to an hour. All we need is for a little kid to get hurt. It has gone up to little kids in strollers, but hasn't done anything.
Okay.
So this is where we're coming from. I mean, I feel bad for my mother having to deal with this, 14 days in the hospital, and 2 months of not being able to lay down.
Yeah.
So that's where we're coming from.
Thank you.
Okay, I'm Kathy Barber, I'm 398 Harmony Road, I'm on the corner of Harmony and Trail. So I'm at the top of the street, she's at the bottom of the street, the dog lives 2 houses from me.
Okay.
So on March 1st, I'd known about this, I knew about her mom's, I had changed the way I walked for 2 years. The dog has been out and about, coming along my fence, peeing on my dog, in my yard, as much as on my front porch. You know, whatever, nobody really seems to care much about it. I came out this day, my dog chose to go left, I looked, I saw the dog's tail, I tried to not run, walk quickly with my 25-pound miniature schnauzer. As I'm walking across the street, I see him coming, he attacks me from behind, I got several bites in my arm, my coat was all bit up, I had my dog above my head, he bit my dog. Animal control said, not bad enough. Because when I said to animal control, does somebody have to, like, what is this, does somebody have to die?
Well,
There's a threshold.
Yes.
So either my dog would have had to lose a limb, or, I mean, I had him here, my bite was here, I'm a hairdresser. I couldn't even do work for like quite a while. And again, I already know from her, nothing's gonna happen. I'm not a lawyer, Frank Wilton, right across the street.
Yeah.
He said, I'll try to go for homeowners. All I really want, I have shitty insurance, all I really want is my hospital baby. I'm not trying to sue her or anything. Animal control first assured me the dog would go into quarantine for 10 days, so I didn't get the rabies shots. I called after the 10 days, and they said, we didn't think she was gonna get him back. She almost surrendered the dog, then she heard that the dog was gonna be euthanized, because he's not adoptable now. We have 2 severe bites, let alone all the roaming that he does in the neighborhood. Stops traffic on Harmony Road, and basically, like she said, nothing we can do.
Yeah.
So I leave horrified now. I get in my car and drive places to walk my little schnauzer around the neighborhood. We're a big walking neighborhood. We all have dogs. It's impacting our life hard. There's not an apology ever, not anything up to any of us.
From the homeowner.
Nothing, just
My
nothing.
mother called them.
Oh, okay. It's okay.
So it's really,
so-
I'm petrified to go walk my dog now, which is one of my true joys in life, is to go walk my little dog. And now I have to this is how I literally leave my house. I'm like this, I look down, because animal control said, if you see as much as a paw out, call us. Excuse me, call you? So, and I agree with her. I live right there, 2 houses from her. Several times I come home from ShopRite, animal control's there, police are there. It's been ongoing for at least 5 years. I didn't want anything bad to happen to the dog, but he's unadoptable now, and we shouldn't be terrorized. The whole street is terrorized because of this dog. And the homeowner just doesn't deserve a dog this big or this. He's up like 100, I don't even know how many pounds he is. He's a really big,
It's a
skinny
Chinese
dog.
Shar-Pei.
He's a Chinese Shar-Pei.
He's a huge dog.
Okay, folks, I need everybody to just, when they come up to the microphone, that's when you can provide input. Until that point,
That's my input.
please just, thank you. How are you? Just, good. But just before you give us your name, and I have to say, I'm not familiar with the threshold. So one thing that I am going to do, I just sent a text. I'm asking for what state law prescribes it to be a dangerous animal. Because I have to be honest with you, this is the first time I've ever had to, heard of this, obviously. So I'm not responding on purpose, I'm just not familiar with those state statutes, so, go ahead, your name and address?
Tricia Drobish, 19 Pearl Street.
Okay.
I'm actually right next door to the dog that we're referring to. The dog is aggressive. I could just ditto everything that's been said already. We are all nervous. We happen to have 2 dogs, about 83 pounds and 64 pounds. It's impossible for me to lift those dogs over my head, so if I'm walking them and I'm faced with the aggressive dog, we're probably going to meet whatever the threshold is, because I'm afraid something terrible would happen. There would be no way for me to scoop my dogs and get to safety. The dog is aggressive. It charges the fence. It's digging under the fence. I now have along the fence cinder blocks. I'm doing everything I can to keep the dog out of my yard instead of having the dog dig and then come into my yard. So we have just all of the concerns that you heard, plus these concerns that I'm mentioning to you. It's a terrible situation. We're all scared to death walking in the neighborhood, and we shouldn't be.
Okay, all right, thank you. Any other member of the public from this group that's speaking about this topic wanna, yes, sir?
Michael Lanza, 23 Pearl Street. I'm one house over from Trish, who spoke. I have 2 girls and we have 2 dogs too, and they're scared to walk the dogs on the block. We keep our dogs in the backyard. You know, one time, about 2 years ago, the dog was out and he charged me, coming up to the door. He banged onto the little door. I just got my 12-year-old chocolate lab right in the house before he would have mangled her, because she can't run like she used to. It's a scary situation. My girls won't go out with the dogs. They can't walk on the block because they're scared to go out. So it's everything to do with, like I said, but it's all right concerned. We don't know what the threshold is, but before something really bad happens, it has to be addressed here.
Yeah, like I said, there's no doubt. I'm asking for these statutes right now so that I can take a look at it so I can understand it better. Because, like I said, I haven't come in contact with, a situation like this arise to this level, obviously. So I'm just trying to educate myself on that quickly, as quickly as I can. Because obviously this is very emotional, and horrible. Laura, it looks like, has gotten all of your information. We're gonna ensure that meeting gets scheduled very quickly. I just texted the chief and asked for a briefing on what he knows about this situation already and whoever is investigating it. So I'll get that information so that, we're all prepared. I'm sure they will, I'm sure. It happens when you mention a street and they know who you're talking about very quickly.
I have a upcoming court date through animal control.
Okay.
I don't know, they postponed it and changed it once. But like when I came up to get the police report, I'm sorry.
Come back up.
I just wanted to say one more thing too.
All right.
When I came.
Just hold on. State your name and address and give it to the
Sorry,
record.
all right. Kathy Barber, 398 Harmony Road, Middletown.
Okay.
So, like I said, when I came to get the police report, they came out. Oh, you're the one that got bit by the dog. So yeah, everybody knows. But I don't know. Something definitely has to be done. It's totally terrifying. I didn't even walk him for a couple of weeks because I was terrified. It's very crazy. And he's been on my property. He's been along my fence. He's been on my porch. And we would greatly appreciate it if you could get something quickly that we could all get together and figure out what the law is or what can be done.
Yeah, I'm going to look into it. Just state your name and address again.
Anne Marie Patel, 21 Pearl Street. I just wanted to add that the person who owns the dog is not the homeowner. It's the homeowner's daughter, which I was wondering particularly, at what point is the owner of the home responsible for who he rents to or who he has living there? And the other thing that concerns me greatly is the fact that in our neighborhood, there are a lot of young families that just moved in. And a lot of them, I have 2 A lot of them walk their babies in carriages, you know, with their small dogs trailing behind. So my concern is it's just gonna be a matter of time before there's a really serious situation. So we're at wit's end here, all of us. I walk with pepper spray, walk with golf clubs. Cassandra's mom walks with a big stick. We don't even walk past that house, but, I mean, obviously, two people here live right next door, so, you know, sometimes you just
You
can't.
can't be a prisoner in your own home.
We are terrified.
I totally get it, I totally get it.
And we're all dog lovers, so we don't blame the dog.
Yeah,
You know?
okay.
Thank you.
All right, thank you all very much. You want to make a statement, sir?
No, I think I've interrupted you enough. Well,
All right, thank you very much. All right, any other member of the public wishing to make a public statement? All right, folks, we're going to get that scheduled up for you. We'll be in touch. You'll hear from Laura. And apparently the HVAC has to turn on. All right. With that being, seeing no other member of the public stepping forward, move to close the public portion and adjourn.
Committee report.
Oh, okay.
yeah, we gotta walk up there. We gotta
Committee
slow up.
report.
Yes.
Committeewoman Kratz. Deputy Mayor Hybel.
Yes.
Mayor Perry.
Yes.
Motion carries to adjourn.
Have a good night, everybody. Thank you all very much.
Thank you.